the Discord chat. It's the echo. There we go. Cool. Awesome. So I'm live here with SuperTightWoody, GM Woody.
Yo, Panda Panda, what up?
Hey, hey, you got a big week, man. You got a big week here with Prop 225, right?
Yes, I do. Very excited about it. We have a current platform that has gotten a ton of usage from the community from our last proposal, and we thought, it'd be really great to keep the momentum going and do something really innovative in music, which we believe is the universal language that kind of ties everybody together in the world and has a massive potential for virality and shareability. And so there's a lot of things to break down within the prop, but they all kind of add to that sum of proliferation of nouns at the end of the day. So very excited about it.
You got a super tight hat on there. Can you show off that hat you're wearing?
Yeah, these are the pian noggles that I made for Nounsounds. Shout out to Ben Body for coming up with that name because I was calling them piano noggles, and he's like, "Dude, just call them piano noggles. It's like way better." So, yeah. So I made some Nounsounds merch. When our last proposal passed, I was like, "Man, this is so dope!" Like, Nouns is kind of this vessel for like allowing me to do things that I love. So I just wanted to, create a bunch of T-shirts and stuff to just like embody noun sounds, and it's just so badass.
Awesome. You've been around nouns for a long time. You're Nouns OG. Can you set the stage here? There might be some people who aren't familiar with you, but I see, like, for example, you got some CDs in your background there.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? Like, what, for someone who doesn't know you, who's maybe into nouns, who is Super Tight Woody? If you give like a 30, 60-second intro.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Damn. My name is Super Tight Woody. A lot of you know me as Super Tight Woody. Most people just call me Woody. I have a company called Super Tight. We do music production and content production for some of the biggest brands and people in the world. And so I started making music like over 20 years ago at this point, and I've been doing music professionally for over 10 years now. And I've created music for major label recording artists. I've made music for movie trailers, TV commercials, TV shows, on and on and on. Yeah, I love making music. Music is my passion. Music is my heart. And from making music, I learned, I was in a band when I was growing up, and I had to make the flyers for our shows. And I was like, shit, I need to learn how to use Photoshop. And then we would like do some video stuff, and I'd be like, damn, I need to learn how to edit video. And then we would do some other stuff, and I had this group of friends that was very creative. We started making cartoons and stuff, and so I really just learned that all of these different tools that you have in your life, whether it's how to make music in the software or the software and how to make video content or animation techniques and things of that nature, everything that is an art form is a tool that allows your brain to communicate with the world. Because we all have creative thoughts. It's just like, do you know how to turn them into something that is communicative, right? And so um, I attribute being involved in music to my skills bleeding over to other things. And so, um, when I entered the Web3 space, I came into Cryptodes and made some like Cryptodes rap songs. Cryptodes is also CC0 project created by Gremplin, who's also one of the founding members of Nouns. And so I had a few toads when they came out, and I used one of them to create this like rapper persona, and I made a song called "It's a Vibe" that is pretty big in the Cryptodes community, and then some other songs for Cryptodes. And then when I found out about Nouns through Toady Hawk, who I met over at Cryptodes, um, it just kind of felt really natural. I made a theme song for Nounsoul to get into the Nounsel, and ever since then, it's just been like all, digging into nouns, being noun pilled, and creating noun sounds ultimately, and creating this new proposal.
Awesome. Can you talk about some of your early years, kind of early formative experience? You said you've been making music for 20 years. When you were a kid, before this was kind of your profession, what did you have some early fun experiences creating that you remember?
Yeah, I do. Um, it kind of goes hand in hand with this noun sounds thing in a way, right? I went I graduated high school and I immediately went to engineering school, where you basically learn how to run a recording studio, learn the equipment in a recording studio, mix songs with all the knobs and things like that, how everything works, right? And when I was growing up, my dad was like played the guitar, was also really into computers, and so we would go to computer shows and build computers together. Or he would build computers all the time, but I kind of would watch him and learn. And we ended up building a computer about the time that I was going to that school, and the school was trying to teach me like how to use a tape machine because that's what they were still using in all these professional recording studios at the time. This was like early 2000s, 2005 or something like that, and it was just really interesting, like having the computer as a tool, like having technology on your side as a tool. Um, was a very important thing in my life because I'm not like a very classically trained person when it comes to music, but I know how to use technology as a tool. And so when I was going to this school, I was like, why do I need to learn these busted ass tape machines that nobody's going to be using, in 10 years or whatever? And they were just didn't get it, and I ultimately ended up just kind of leaving the school, uh, and was just like, I don't need to learn this tape machine thing. Like, it's crazy. And so I think it applies to now, where Noun Sounds might be a tool where somebody can go in that might not know how to use a music sequencer and click a few buttons in our playground that we have and export something that they really enjoy, and then dive further into music from there. So I think that's one thing that always stuck into my head was like, I guess that technology. It seems silly now because everybody uses computers for everything, but back then it was like, you know, you couldn't record a robust album on a computer yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're definitely going to get into the playground because I've been kind of toying around with it, but I want to have you give us a tour. But in just a little bit, I want to just kind of set the stage here a little bit more on Prop 225 because that's the big news here this week. It is starting tonight, right? February 6th tonight at 7:45.
Yep.
Proposal 225. You're asking for 245 and a half ETH. I spent some time reading over this, and there's a bunch of layers here.
Mm-hmm.
There's, for example, there's a contingency. You might have one partnership that might work or might not. Um, what is it that you want noun voters to know about this, or what are sort of yeah, what are the things that you want every voter to know before they vote on this?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I would just say that us as nouns, tapping into music is probably one of the best things that we can do. Um, and I feel like this proposal, working with the different tiers of artists that we have, working on the platform and the technology side of things, and working with some really great nounish partnerships that we have lined up, as well as the formation of the DAO. We just feel that all these things really open up everything. They open up the gates for maximum proliferation. If you look at something like TikTok or Instagram Reels, or where society sharing is kind of at and where it's headed, it all involves music. The Grammys, I think, just happened. Like, that was a massive award show. There's just so many different things that music, even these little dings that are dinging. Like there's so many different things that audio effects in the world, right? And our initial goal was to provide a robust library of music, not only music but sound effects, sounds, bleeps and bloops, and also creating the playground, um, so that people could build with audio, right? And I think the next iteration of this Noun Sounds platform is how can we tap into what's happening with music? How can we nurture music? How can we collaborate with music? How can we nounify music in a way that only nouns can do? And I think Noun Sounds is the perfect vessel for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I am a creator, little panda here. Been creating some content, and I posted on Twitter maybe last week that I was looking for some accent sounds, and I'm also looking for sort of a theme music, kind of intro, outro music for sort of short clips. So I figured we could dive in here. I've messed around a bit in the playground, and I remember when this first came out. It's actually quite a bit more advanced. You've been building this for a while, because now you've got things like randomize and different sort of lo-fi chill. I didn't know that. Is this new? These
No, so
arrows?
so we had like the first version of Noun Sounds was kind of like one song. Uh, I don't think the mute buttons were there. I don't even know if the nouns kind of generated from any the music as of yet, right? But we had this first version where it was like one song, and we were just testing it out. We sent the link out to people as we were building it, and it was so funny because people were just like doing screen captures because you couldn't export either, right? So like people were doing screen captures to use it in their podcasts and stuff like that because we didn't have an export button. So yeah, we had added a lot of different things, and it was really beautiful how it all came together. To be honest, like the randomize feature, the way that recording happens, that was a thing where we were like, oh, should we just export a loop, or should we be able like should it be that the user can go in and it just records everything live? So shout out to Papaya who built all this stuff. I just provided the music, and Carambonia did a lot of the artwork, all the artwork you see that's like new instruments and things like that. So yeah, I mean it all came together, and it's a beautiful thing. We're super proud of it.
You just mentioned the art, and I have to jump here because that's something I've noticed, and I really want to kind of dive in here. And I can't remember who, but there's some nouner who tweeted, I don't know, a while ago about how art is actually a very good proxy kind of for whether a project will kind of thrive or not. And what I notice about Noun Sounds is you guys have a lot of original art, like this kind of instrument here, these rainbow noggles. You're doing a lot of original art here, even though this is a sound project.
Yeah, for sure. And again, shout out Karambonia. Um, we immediately hit him up when the prop passed. Like that, it wasn't even in our proposal that we were gonna create all this new artwork. But we felt that it was really necessary to make it like a new, fun, and exciting experience,
Oh my God,
to
I love this. Is
accompany
this
the
a
audience.
xylophone?
Yeah, it's a xylophone.
Oh,
Uh,
that's amazing.
yeah, yeah. Karim is the shit, dude. He's so cool and he's so talented. Um, and so we did, take some things from Lost Nouns. Shout out to Lost Nouns that kind of pertain to music, um, and obviously like some some regular nouns. But yeah, our whole concept was like, how can we make nounish, musical instruments? And he just knocked it out of the park.
So so this is amazing. This is what's this instrument called?
That's an accordion.
Oh
The
man.
the Italian, like the Godfather. Have you played on that or something like that?
No, I recognize it. I just forgot what it was called, but this is
Yeah,
amazing because
Yeah.
there's something about the keys being, this way and then this being vertical and there's something very cool about that.
Yeah.
So I actually got a request now, and I hadn't thought about this before, but do you all have Figma file with your art or a way to kind of?
No, no. It's all just Karim doing it in A Sprite. Um, and he just sent over the PNGs. I arranged, I organized everything and made sure everything was like lined up or whatever. But that's a lost noun, and that is for a ghost note, which is something in music that basically is like a silence instead of a note being played, which is super
Okay,
fun.
cool. So I'm gonna make a request. I need this art, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So we got to figure out a way, I think, for you guys to make this art available because I'd love to use some of this. And some of this is really, and this xylophone is really catching. Um, so yeah, let's figure that out because I want access to some of this art. But let's oh yeah, and this is like a little what is this, like an amp?
yeah. It's a guitar amp, uh,
Uh,
dude. So like a gem that's like buried in here too, which is one of my favorite things. The first thing that Karim did when we were like, "Yo, do you want to make some pixel artwork for Noun Sounds?" was he created the Will Ferrell character that plays the cowbell in that like infamous skit.
oh man,
So if you see like a man, if you like keep clicking random, he was up there a while ago, but you'll see like a man head, and that's actually like his interpretation of Will Ferrell playing the cowbell. And then that chest hair suit, like there's a body that's like chest hair, and then there's a head. Um, and so that's like, oh, there it is right there at the end, the last head. Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, so that's Will Ferrell uh, when he's doing the cowbell thing. So yeah, so funny, dude, so funny.
And this air horn is great. And look at these. These
Mm-hmm.
are uh,
Maracas, shakers,
maracas.
maracas.
I
Yeah.
remember making those in elementary school. Okay, I can talk about your art all day, but I'm gonna have to get this offline and do some tweets about it.
But we will. That's a
Let's
good point. We should get it on Figma and get that accessible to everybody.
Yeah, and what I would love to see is like the Foundation. Um, they have just a little Figma link. Boom,
Mm-hmm.
go right into their Figma community file. So I would
Awesome.
just love that if I could go right into a file where I could grab these PNGs or whatever they are. Um, that's amazing because reading through your prop, to me, I think the art is super interesting. And I think a lot of people are going to be into the sounds and all the tech stuff and the promotion. But I think a real core value prop is nounish art is needs to proliferate, and original nounish art. I just love funding that and supporting that, and I love your art on Noun Sounds.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I mean, we plan on using it for the DAO when we build the DAO out. So that'll be like the generative. We'll probably add more to the art that we do have already, but that'll be the art that pops up every day for the auctions. It'll be the music related nouns art.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, well let's make some music here. Let me switch windows here and just give you kind of a quick kind of idea of what my use case is and what I'm looking for. And so I'm making content as a kind of this little panda character. And so my brand is sort of, cute and playful, playing a fun game, into kind of governance and diplomacy and absurdism and like making friends. That's sort of kind of the brand here. And so I'm
Awesome.
making content by basically interviewing people like you, interviewing, and let me show you an example where I needed help on music. So I interviewed Honk a couple weeks ago, Honk Diddley,
Shout out Honk.
and shout out Honk. Let me see if I can find out what I did. But I basically did a long form interview, and then I put together like a 30-second clip of honk talking about. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, right here.
You reached a picture of your son, right? Can you talk about what you were going for here?
Well, there's many things that I put in my voting reasons, and I think that nouns on the ground is pretty nounish. So I figured might as well put one of the most nounish things on there that I could, my noun. I also wanted to break it down to Gora, and I was successfully did that.
That's amazing. I looked at your voting.
So yeah, just like a short little clip, and you heard my kind of generic kind of accent sounds from iMovie. But he says something like, the reason he put his sponge in his voting reason was because it was really nounish, and so I wanted kind of some sort of accent sound that really hit home. Hey, this is nounish. So, is there a way for me to do that with noun sounds?
Yeah, for sure.
Find
If you go to the library, there's actually, so I also created some sonic logos for nouns specifically. So if you go to the top, there's a filter. I think if you go to bleeps at the bottom there, or is it its own tag? Yeah, there's those. Keep going. There's one of them. So that's
I
like
like
the
that.
nouns like sonic logo. I use it in like all the videos that I've been doing, and I think there's at least one more, maybe two more of like noun sonic logos, and those are broken down to like just the music without the nouns like being said in there, and then I think there's also like nouns by itself. It's broken down into multiple different layers and stuff too.
Okay. And so if I want to use these, well, first of all, I mean, I think it goes without saying, but this is all CCO, right? CC0.
100%. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So for folks who don't understand that, I can use anything I want here. I don't have to ask you. I can download stuff. I can remix stuff. I don't have to credit you. It's like you're creating all these, I don't know, like creating all these markers, and I can just pick up a marker and just do whatever I want with it at any
Whatever you
time.
want. Whatever you want. It
Do
could be
whatever.
like the new like Windows boot up sound, and I couldn't do shit about it. It's all CC0. If Puff Daddy wants to come and make a new like song called like Nouns, and do this, like P Diddy wants to make a new noun song, and use one of these tracks to rap over, and it becomes a hit. Um, more power to him. Like anybody can do anything with this. There's no rights to it. Remix, do whatever comes to your heart, whatever your heart desires.
And the impact for me is that just lets me do what I want. And I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to think about legalities. I can just mess around like I'm a kid in a candy store and have fun. And that's just a big unlock. So if I want to, if I like one of these, do I download it with this button here, this folder, or how does this work?
Yeah, click that.
Okay. Down Sting, and I could just download. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Easy
Sweet.
peasy.
So I think feature request is I think you need another. You need to label these because they're all just bleeps and bloops. But then when I click on it, it's got a name. Button 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's a good point.
Yeah, and because I was messing around here looking for these accent sounds, and no, it's good that you kind of talked me through it. Bleeps. Okay. What are these other tags here? What else should we explore?
If you're looking for like a theme song, so it kind of just depends. There's two ways, right? You could go to the playground and create something there. All of the music and loops from the playground also live in the library independently, right? So if you like this song in particular, or whatever dance moves in the playground, you can go to the library And I think if you go to the search button and you just hit dance moves, it might just bring it up. Or playground. There you go. So those are, and I used AI to like generate all these like album covers that might be what the audio sounded like in the song. But those are all the stems, right? From
Shout out Honk, right, for this art. Did you use Nouns AI?
No, I didn't. It was actually before that was like really, really usable. I wish I would have been able to. Maybe for the next ones. But yeah, so like you should be able to download individual stems from there if you want to. So that's always an option. Or there's a bunch of different CC0 music that I've created and different loops and different things. So
Okay. What if I want to create something here? Or I wonder if you can help me and kind of maybe can you take over and show us your screen and let's create something?
if the audio works, yeah. If the audio works, let me see. Let's see if present, share screen, screens. Some screens let you share audio. Look for share audio box. Okay. Yep. Show. Yeah. Share audio. Boom. Okay. So you should be able to hear me. Let me know if you can't hear my audio. So we have the movement.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
but
got
it's
the
coming-
audio.
It's
That's
coming out
great.
of my speakers though. 1 second. Let me see if I can. Sound. Output. Boom. Okay, that should fix it. Okay. So we got these different tracks that we can go through, like we were kind of scrolling through earlier. I don't know why my internet is being slow. So this is kind of like a cool little rap song. But if you want to just like something simple like this, you know, as kind of backgroundy music, I mean, you could even take out the lead and just have a drum beat, or just the drums for that matter, or you could do that. So the cool thing about that is when you hit record, it'll record all of these things that you're doing, from muting to selecting these different instruments throughout the song, right? So let's go to a different one. I think from what you read me about what you're trying to create, I think there's like this one's kind of cool. That might fit your kind of aesthetic for your show. Like this kind of vibe seems cool, no? So what I would do is I would get it, I would kind of, here, let me see. I would get it to a point where you kind of mess with it for a little bit, right? So each one of these different squares is going to be a different musical sound on the top layer. These are all different percussion loops. These are all different lead instruments, which essentially means that it's like accompanying the main instrument, and then we have the drum loops here. And so if I was gonna make a theme song, quote unquote, I would kind of start it off like with just the main instrument, and then I would slowly bring in, you know, maybe the drums, and then add the percussion, and then add the lead, and then you would be able to kind of use whatever segment that you wanted in the videos that you're making. So if it's like a chill, you know, introduction, you might just want to use the drums, or you might just want to use the main instrument. So here, let me just kind of show you. Like, so we'll record. So then we'll bring in some drums. And then if I was messing with this before, I would know that, like, you know, for example, maybe I like this drum, and then I can switch it out for that and make it like a booty popping track. And then this would be like the climax, right? So maybe I switch the percussion and then unmute that. And then this is like when, you know, your lower third, or not your lower third, this is when your like logo comes in at the end for your thing. So you can kind of just do this a bunch of different times. That was about a minute. And as soon as you stop recording.
Can you save that? Yeah, I want you to save that.
As soon as you stop recording, so I'll just save it as Little Panda, boom. As soon as you stop recording, it prompts you to save it. And then literally you have the MP3 just like on your computer that you just created. And you can just do this numerous times. Like say you just wanted the drums, you know, for like this. I mean, you could literally just go in here. And then you have that as a drum loop, right? So it's really interesting how flexible it is for such a simple platform, right? Because anybody can. The way that I created the music, and it was like really difficult to do, it was all these different musical instruments have to be in the same key, the same tempo, and they all have to fit over each other. And so I don't know how many combinations there are within these 5, you know, there's 4 tracks, there's 5 layers to each track, but they all have to fit together, right? So that was a crazy thing to try to, like a crazy puzzle to try to figure out. Because, you know, when you're making music, the notes can like hit on the same thing and sound like crap, you know, or if the drums and the percussion don't fit together, it's very odd sounding. So I had to go through and literally just hit like randomize. And like if something didn't sound good, I had to go back to the drawing board. And so there's, you know, a lot of different genres. For example, this one's kind of like Dr. Dre-ish. So like all of those different instruments have to fit together, which is, yeah, it was just like a crazy challenge. But it was very fun doing it. This is like a lo-fi one where, you know, traditional kind of lo-fi sounding music. This is actually a really quite popular one for people that have used it for content thus far. So yeah, I mean, shit, I could be playing in here all day. It's super fun. Yeah, so really proud of this platform and excited for the next steps in Nounsounds for sure.
Okay, I got a couple questions. First, I want to just highlight one thing, which I think is for people who don't know Nouns, it's really new, but I don't have to create an account on this site. I don't have to give you my email address. You hit record, then at the end, it just lets you download the MP3. It's not like spamming an email with me. It's not, your platform isn't asking anything of me. It's just giving me something, right?
Very Nounish. Yeah, you don't have to do anything. Anybody can go here. It just works. Like, and it just, you know, it's initially intended to empower Nouns creators, but given the CC0 nature of Nouns, it's just kind of an open source thing now that exists in the world. And, you know, I think it's going to grow and people are going to keep using it. And, you know, the goal is to like, what if we work with Bud Light and it ends up in like a Bud Light commercial? Or what if we, you know, a piece of music? Or what if we, you know, get on a Netflix show? They use some of this music in something that's like massive, right? That would be the ultimate thumbs up. Like, okay, this is something. You know, that would be something that's a really great goal, great North Star to have, I think, for Nounsounds for sure.
And, you know, you really set yourself up there by so fully embracing CC0, because a Netflix show they don't have to license any of this. They don't have to go talk to their lawyers. They could record their own thing, download it, play it, and they don't even have to credit you, right?
Yeah, they don't. And it's
Super
kind of a
frictionless.
weird. It is super frictionless, but it's funny. I've talked to a few friends that work in the music licensing industry, and I don't think that they're there yet, to be honest. Like, I think they would still, given that it's a big corporation, they still would want to have some sort of contract with somebody. And so that's when we get into the next phase of Noun Sounds, where it's like, okay, how do we do this? Like, how does it work, right? We have a fee for Ethan, the new proposal for lawyers, because we're going to need to engage lawyers for all the collaborations that we're doing, and for any other new artists that come in that submit music, we're going to need them to sign paperwork, right? To let go of their rights if it's CC0, or just have an agreement with an artist to create something. And so part of that also is, how does it work when someone wants to, use it in a TV show or a commercial? Like, they're going to have to pay somebody and have a contract with somebody. And so when that does happen, I want to be set up to sort of be ready for that when it does happen, and engage with it and take the necessary steps to make sure that it happens in a frictionless way. But it's also going to be like probably Woody signing paperwork. And what does that entail? Do we need to make an LLC? Like, what does it entail? And that's kind of like the next unlock, is like when we actually break into the music industry, how does CC0 fit? How are we going to get in there and make sure that people know about CC0? Because right now it's like, I don't think there is a big knowledge base on what CC0 is in the music industry, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it probably will start with kind of more bottom up, kind of lowly creators, like newer creators like myself. But I will say that just the experience, if I'm a creator, I'm making video content, I need audio, the experience is just so different, where I can just record it, click it, boom, it's done, without having to give out my email address and do some kind of weird bargain where I don't quite understand what the platform's getting. And that's a big unlock. Question is, if you could go back to that West Coast,
Yeah.
the Dr. Dre sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the icons that are like on percussion, those accessories, do those change? How do those
okay. Yeah.
graphics
So
line?
every time that you refresh the page, so if you look, we're on this West Coastin' song. If I refresh, it's all new layers. So they're just randomly generated as you move through the songs. There's nothing specifically assigned to anything, because we felt that, if somebody creates a song that they love and they export it and they wanted to save this along with it, they wouldn't have the same combination as anybody else. Even if you had the same person export these, when you refresh it, it automatically generates new Nounish layers. So then when you export it and you create, you get your little bell here, it's just like nobody has the same noun that corresponds to the same sounds.
Interesting. I wonder what it would look like if those layers kind of appeared and disappeared as you mixed a track. So like when you put the drums in, the noggles go on.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be maybe less nounish if there wasn't noggles on it. Like, if it was just the underlying layers. It might be cool. I don't know. I've never thought about that, to be honest. That's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. Just like as you're banging the drums, like maybe the layer flashes or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing. Um,
Yeah, that'd be
but
cool.
another thing I want to do. So, how many of these? The West Coast in, you had the lo-fi chill. How many are those? How many are there of that?
I think there's 10.
Cool.
I think there's 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll
Which
say,
it
as a user, I didn't see this arrow until just today when you showed it to me.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know what that means, but I was playing around for a while, and yeah, I'm excited to see all these 10 different songs now
So
because I didn't know that
you
was
just unlock 10 times the noun sounds.
10 times. Hell yeah, and especially that lo-fi beats. I vibe with lo-fi for a lot of my content where it's just kind of like back in the background, just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
Um, could you show us some more lo-fi? Could you mix another track for me?
Yeah, lo-fi. Let's see. Lo-fi chill. Okay,
It looks like I
so
recorded it here.
yeah, let's get it lined up to where which one do you like better for the lead? So there's that like there's like a string. There's these things. Those are kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Let's do that. Yeah? I'm just like making your song for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love watching you work. It's so much fun.
Cool. Let's record it. You know, and the crazy thing is, like, at first we were gonna have it so when you clicked on one of these layers, it would like wait until the next like loop to start the next layer, but now it does it live. So like if I select different drums, for example, it'll switch like in the middle of the song. It's just everything is playing at the same time. It's like almost what you're choosing gets played, if that makes any sense. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna switch the main instrument up right here a little bit.
Oh, nice.
All right, so let's switch back up here. And then we'll bring this back in. All right. I mean, I could do that. I could do it all day, literally. Um, it's just like,
Can you make sure to save that? You got to save that.
yeah. For sure.
Awesome.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's crazy because when you get so close to something, like when I created all these songs, I was so sick of them, to be honest. Like, because I'm just like shoving these loops together, you know, like, does this work? Does this work? And then like over time, you just, from the time you make something to the time you're like making it work together to testing the platform to like getting the platform up and exporting. Yeah, I've heard these things millions of times, dude. And this is actually the first time I've sat down and reused the platform almost since the proposal passed, or you know, since the last proposal deliverables were delivered. So it's crazy how fun this is. It's awesome.
It's really like it's almost like it's like a next generation of like a garage band kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's like a cross between. I would say that I think it's a really good introduction to music and music making, to be honest, because it's something that is robust enough to get a product that you like and you feel like you created something yourself, but it also limits your focus to like just picking the right loops and like whether it's muted or whether it's playing, right? And so I think if someone comes here that has no knowledge of music whatsoever, they can have a great experience, they can export it, but also they might want to explore music more after this, right? Like, what if you uh, could not only, you know, select which layers to play? Like, what if you could select what the instrument sounded like, whether it was a guitar or a saxophone or something like that? What if you go a little bit further and kind of learn more about music? I think there's a really great introduction. Like if it was like students, you know, young kids that are students that can use this tool. Um, I think it's a really great onboarding experience into music making for sure.
Hmm. That honestly seems like, I don't know if you have a budget for content or marketing, but it seems like you could give lessons. You could have like, office hours with Woody. You know, like 1 hour a week, where anyone in the Nouniverse or anyone could just come by and you could sort of give lessons.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, we don't necessarily have it in the budget other than community management by me, like, you know, community relations, community management, social media content. And I think it's going to vary from what you were just talking about to, you know, working with the artists that we have on there, like Ghost and Lisa, um, getting photography and behind the scenes footage. And, you know, when we do prop houses, you know, compiling videos for that and releasing it on social. Um, all the things, man, all the things. I think documentation of things similar to what you're doing, really, you know, like documentation of what you're doing, and then editing that up to tell a story. I think that's the best way to create content, um, in this new digital age that we live in. And I was doing that for a while of like lives when I was creating these noun sounds. I was doing live streams on a few of them. So I would just, you know, go onto OBS, hit record, and go on my YouTube, record for an hour or whatever. And some of these that made it into Noun Sounds are actually, you can see me create them live, on my YouTube channel.
What's your YouTube channel?
It's at SuperTightWoody. So I think it's YouTube slash SuperTightWoody if I'm not mistaken. Um, I think I got that URL. But but yeah, it's like that's what I mean. I think what you're doing is awesome, dude. I think building in public and that's how you really. It's kind of hard to explain, you know. It's like when you do that, you open yourself up to like not being afraid of being vulnerable anymore, in a way. Because if you're just doing a live stream all the time, or you're just streaming like an hour a day or hour per week, it doesn't really matter the time frame. But it's just, you know, you're setting yourself up to be vulnerable, to like fuck up live, to not be perfect, to tell your story and to have people experience things that you're doing through you as like the vessel, the person that's doing them. I think it's just, it's like the ultimate storytelling device, and it's a huge unlock. And it's just like, how can you take the large keystone tentpole content that you create and edit it down to the different digestible bites that grabs people enough to bring them in to watch the larger piece, you know?
Totally, totally. And you know, Jacob posted something the other night about content, and how you know the DAO investing in content that sort of has a fixed cost. But then as the DAO brand grows, it can distribute that content wider and wider. So you have like a fixed content basis for the creation, but then you can distribute it just sort of frictionlessly. So he's into content, I'm into content. I love just honestly just watching you work here and generate stuff. I think, man, I'd love to see more of that. Yeah, and I see like I'm really fascinated. I'm at your YouTube here, and you have like Star Wars remix using a beat.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's
play
fun.
this. I'm sorry. I
This
can't resist.
is the flip of the Star Wars theme song.
We going into hyperspace.
We're gonna sample the sound effects from Star Wars, and we're gonna flip them into a beat with only Star Wars samples.
That's amazing. Do you have a video editor or do your own video editing?
No, I do everything myself, man. For the time being, like it would be great to have a video editor, but it's 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 hard to tell a story, that people actually want to be invested in today's sort of like landscape of content. Like with TikTok and Instagram Reels, everybody's like attention span's really low. So, Mr. Beast being like a shining hilltop example of how to like pull people in, how to grab them, how to format the storytelling and stuff like that. I think if it gets to a point, then I'd love to have editors, but for now, there's really no need. I just do everything myself.
Yeah, what do you think? I want to make a clip out of this stream that we've recorded here.
Mm-hmm.
What, or maybe a couple, and like one I was thinking was to really just have you mixing the sound and kind of talking about it. I want to show that process. Any other ideas if you're just spitballing around for how we could package this up into something that could pop out on Twitter and
Yeah, I would take the like one of the theme songs for that we made for you, and I would say one of them being like me and SuperTightWoody made my new theme song on a live stream or something like that, right? And it could just be us going through making your theme song. I think if you can get a piece up while this week while Nounsounds is live, that would be a great thing too. Me kind of talking about the things that we've done with Nounsounds and then the new proposal. I think those are two things that could get people's attention. And then, I mean, you seem to be pretty good at the meme sensibility of everything. So if there's something funny, there's something funny in there. Maybe taking the Will Ferrell cowbell dude and like making the GIF and being like Woody drops the biggest alpha ever, some stupid shit. And then just like, yeah, it's the cowbell guy. And then like take the video of him like banging on the cowbell. I need more cowbell. But yeah, that could be funny as well.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to get to work in the lab here. I'm kind of newer to video editing, but I could tell just from this Star Wars thing, you've got it down, and that you've got like an intro, kind of a hook. You kind of have the visually interesting. You got a split screen. I also liked watching as you were talking, kind of the audio wave kind of went up and down. Is pretty compelling.
Thanks, man.
How long have you been doing YouTube and video content stuff?
I've been doing it for a while. I mean, not necessarily like YouTube as like a YouTuber, but I've been making content with music. I started off creating videos for music festivals. So I would go, work a music festival. I would go film and do like a recap video. And pretty soon I was doing that for like the Foo Fighters and, working with top tier sort of acts. And I had to learn how to like edit fast, because you shoot the show and then they expect it as soon as you can. And the edit has to be like telling a story, but also like pew, 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 pew. You have to like keep people's attention in those recap videos of music festivals. And so from there, I just kept going and applied that sort of mentality to content creation. And, obviously learned from the greats, watched a bunch of Casey Neistat, watched, the great people on YouTube that know how to tell the stories and hook people in and all that stuff. So I think the YouTube videos that I created, it was just I did them for fun because it's just I'm super passionate about music, and it's fun to be able to like not have to focus on uh, work shit. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like when your music becomes your job, it's like you almost have to like make music specifically for certain things. And I'm like, dude, I just want to sample Star Wars or some stupid shit today, or just like I just want to, do something that I'm having fun with instead of being like, can you make a dance track for this commercial that sounds like this artist mixed with this artist? These kind, it's just you can kind of break out of the box of creativity and just do whatever you want. So
Love it. Love it. Are you an Ugly Dow?
yeah, yeah, I love Ugly Dow. Yeah, shout out to the homies in Ugly. We bought the box noun together and the math can together as
And did
well.
you make this GIF?
No, that was created by Kimmy Dueck. I'm gonna mess that last name up. I believe that Kim created it and shared it, and it was like a bunch of different other animated little shorts that they've done of the noun square, and that was like one of them, I believe, and that I cut the GIF out of it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, Woody. Love this stuff. Got to sort of kind of wrap it up. Oh man, look, here's all this art. I gotta find who's your artist? Karim. How do you spell that?
KERIMBONIA. There you go.
Oh, I know this dick butt.
Yeah.
I gotta get
That's
this guy on
actually
the show.
it's actually a dick toad, but yeah. Give Karim a follow. He's amazing. He's super talented. He actually just had a proposal passed for making sprite sheets for games and stuff like that. So he's taking all the nouns assets and creating sprite sheets where they walk back and forth, and all the different views of them, so they can like have nouns in World Wide Web platform and other 2D platformer games.
Awesome. Gooch Island Records, man.
Dude, Karim, he's a talented 3D artist. He's a talented pixel artist. He's a talented just overall person. Like, I love Karim. He's amazing.
Awesome. Well, I gotta say, I've followed your work kind of passively for a while. What I've really taken away from this episode is you have a lot of experience outside of music with creation and with content. You're sort of like a content dude, and I had no idea. I kind of thought of you more as just a music guy, just like into the beats. But man, this overarching sense of the content ecosystem and production, I think that's a huge asset to Nouns and to this project. And I didn't know that about you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, if you ever, if anybody is curious about what I do IRL, you can just go to SuperTight.co, and that's my website for all music, content creation, Web3, yada yada yada. You can watch my reel and see the fun things that I've done. And
Oh man, you had music in Silicon Valley?
yeah, Silicon Valley had music in I think every season except one. There was like background music produced by me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I
that
love
show.
Silicon Valley. Yeah, Silicon Valley's the best, or was the best. RIP.
A Silicon Valley version of Nouns would be hilarious.
Hilarious, dude. Hilarious.
Like a deeply inside Nouns version would be just amazing.
Talking about governance and shit. That'd be so funny, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
dude.
Okay, so for people who want to follow you, there's obviously it's Nounsounds.wtf. There is Proposal 225, which is up for a vote starting tonight. Prop 225 got on chain. You can vote for this. There's also your Twitter is @SuperTightWoody. And the site you just shared, supertight.co. This is your kind of IRL job, career stuff. We can look at all your stuff there. Anything else you want to plug or anything for people to follow?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I got, I have my hands in so many different things. I just launched Lil Toad's DAO with the DAO Builder tool a few weeks back, to build on top of the Cryptodes IP, which is super fun. One of my passions is Cryptodes as well. And yeah, just a part of so many different things. Part of the Noun Square. Go vote for the Noun Square proposal as well. We work hard every day and just really try to provide quality content and multimedia for the Nounosphere. And that's probably another great thing to talk about on here too, if you haven't already. Like I think that the Noun Square is just something that, it's kind of crazy. I was like thinking yesterday, it's crazy how far we've come with this Noun Square project. We started off doing one show a day, and it was like, man, how are we going to do one show every day? This is crazy. Now there's like 30 shows a week, and we have all these different Nounish communities involved. I'm bringing Cryptodes in by doing a Little Toads soapbox. There's just been so many different things that are happening, so many different things that have happened and are happening on top of the Noun Square, that it's just super exciting to see where this thing can go as a Nounish, sort of media company in a lot of regards. So check that out as well. I'm a part of that. I'm part of Ugly DAO. I'm a part of so many different things in the Nouns ecosystem. I love Nouns. I love the community. I love everybody. And it's just, I'm excited for this year. I think it's going to be a beautiful year for Nouns.
Me too. What a way to end it. Really appreciate you coming on, Woody. We're going to have to do this again. We're definitely going to have to do this again. Wish you all the best here on the Noun Square Prop 226 and Noun Sounds 225. Thanks for coming on, Woody. Really appreciate you.
Panda, Brandon, thank you so much, man. It's been a blast. I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks again. And send me those tracks in Discord.
Yeah, we'll do, man.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
See you next time.
Laters. Bye.